Yo, let's go, and welcome to episode 3 of the Boomkin breakdown. Today we're going to compare Spellfire sets against the optional best in slot pieces for those slots. It's a lot of talk of which is better, which is actual BIS, what's going to do more damage, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on what I think each set is capable of. So I've put all the stats from the Spellfire, Spell Strike, and then the tier, the gloves, all that stuff that matches those slots over here. It's a lot of numbers to look at, but down here at the bottom we've got the total stats that we really want to be looking at. The crafted gear is going to give you 975 mana from the intellect, 280 health, 219 spell power for like the nature spells for Wrath and Insect Swarm, Hurricane, and then Arcane's going to have 391 spell power. And the gear is going to give you 6.2% crit. That's including the crit from the intellect. Druids receive 1% spell crit for every 79.4 points of intellect, so it's just a little bit extra, like half of a crit for Spellfire, quarter of a crit for the Spell Strike, but 6.2% total crit from the intellect and the crit on the gear, just over 3% hit. And then it has the proc for 92 spell power for 10 seconds, and the 7% of intellect as spell power. The optional gear gives 2200 mana, 1560 health, 314 spell power, like overall, nature and arcane, 48 spirit, 5.86% crit, 2.69% hit, and then you have a meta socket. So I had the crit included in this total, so the other part of the meta gem is 3% crit damage. And you'll be getting a 2 set from your tier, which has a chance to restore 120 mana. So just the pieces themselves, the difference, I went with like the optional pieces for this. So the optional set is giving you 1225 more mana, 1280 more health, plus 95 spell power, but minus 77 arcane. About a third of a percent less crit, third of a percent less hit, but 48 more spirit. The gems that I had put in for these numbers, I had put into a 70s upgrade set that I had built around the gear. So for Spell Strike, I had a lot of plus spell power, because that's what you're going to be doing if you have that set. With the shoulders, I had some other gems in there, but I had the same trinkets. These are the 2 trinkets I would want to go with. If you don't have Restrained Essence, you might have something different. Same with the Ring of the Fallen God, I have that, so your set might look different if you don't have those available. We have the Sunfire enchant for this set as well. So you can see it's only 110 more arcane damage, 12% hit for both because I'm Alliance, so Draenei Shamans give me 4% hit. The crit, we have a little bit extra on the non-crafted side. Spirit, 53 more spirit, a lot more intellect. Another thing that all of this is going to give is this will be boosted more by kings. So we'll be getting 10% of these stats from kings extra, like 21 extra spirit, 43 extra intellect. So we're only getting 35 extra int over here. So all those little things add up on top of all these numbers here. So the crit will be a little bit smaller, but that 7% of int comes out to, say we have 350, we'll get 35 from kings. Alright, so 350 plus 35 plus, what's the arcane intellect gives? 41 plus Mark of the Wild gives a little extra. I think it's 28. So roughly 450. See what 7% of that is. So you're getting around 32 spell power from that set bonus. Let's see what the meta gem would give. So let's say you have a 5500 crit times 0.03, you get an extra 165 damage on top of that. So this is just going to keep scaling more and more the more spell power you get, but I think that kind of evens out. So the 92 spell power proc might proc when you don't really want it to, or when you're moving or having to decurse. So not having control over when you're going to have that up. When it is up, it might just be useless. You might be running to get in position on Gruul, you might have to decurse on Adaman, you might have to be clicking your cube and mag, and that proc is up, it's just going to be a waste. But the meta socket is 3% crit across the board. Every single spell, if it crits, you're getting 3% more damage from it. So I went and I looked at my logs for Gruul. against the top DPS balanced Druid. So they did 200 more DPS, but I looked at a couple of things. They did get 2 innervates, so they had the Resto Druid or Feral Druid give them an innervate. So that allowed them to use destruction potions, which is a huge DPS boost. I had my own innervate and was using mana pots and dark runes, so I had to use mana pots instead of the destruction pots. He got really lucky with, I think this is the crafted gear proc, so he got like 5, it looks like, in the fight, and he was able to line up a trinket proc and a destro pot twice in the fight, which I think is pretty crazy. A lot of damage from stacking all of those 3 things, but consistently, are they going to be able to do that every single fight? I don't know. So he had an extra innervate, able to use destruction pots instead of mana pots. And another thing was, if we look at this cast against my cast, I had 7 fairy fires. He didn't have a single fairy fire. It looked like the feral druid was keeping fairy fire up for them. All of those globals used for fairy fire, I wasn't able to be doing damage like he was. So I think being 200 DPS below the top isn't that bad for them having full crafted, full spell fire, full spell strike. I mean, I do have the pants, but I just haven't got trial fire yet, so I'm using these for now. So after looking at the 2 logs and comparing them, I'm not really convinced that the spell strike and crafted gear is a lot better than the tier gear and optional bisque pieces. It looks like, you know, they're not giving their raid the 3% hit from improved fairy fire. They're needing extra help by having another druid give them their innervate, and me, I'm self-sufficient. I've got extra mana, I've got extra spirit, which is giving me more mana back from innervate. I've got more health, so just in case like the roof collapse or cave in or something lands on top of me, I'm not just gonna die. If somebody's in my range, I have more health. It's not gonna blow me up on Gruul as easy as if I was in the crafted gear. The spell power difference isn't that big to make me go for all of this and struggle every fight for mana. I'm just gonna keep on going without the spell strike set for now. Maybe if I keep doing my cooldowns on the crafts, I might end up getting it in like a month or 2, but definitely not in any rush. So right now I've got 1034 spell power, 12.09% hit, just over 20% crit in Boomkin form. So I'm putting out over 1k DPS on Gruul, which I'm happy with. Just the 1 piece of the crafted until I can replace it with trial fire. But having that meta socket, the more spell power I get, the more damage that's just going to be doing from the gem, the chaotic Scarfire. And I've been looking at phase 2 bis as well, and I think that meta gem is just going to be insane next patch. I'll talk about phase 2 bis in another video and show you what I'm thinking in terms of gear choice for phase 2. I don't see anybody else posting anything about that yet, so this is all just theory crafting right now, but I'm excited for phase 2 already. If your boss kill times are a little longer than 2.5, maybe 3 minutes, then having that crafted set's really gonna hurt you. You're going to be running out of mana, not being able to cast. So going for the non-crafted gear is still a solid choice. Don't feel like you have to have the crafted set in order to have a raid spot. It should be easy for you to get the pieces that aren't crafted as well, since your mages, your shadow priest, maybe warlocks are going to be happy with their crafted set and not want the pieces, so maybe that'll help you get geared up quicker that way. I'll leave the links to both of these sets in the description. If you're a horde and you need 1% more hit, you can kind of plug these in, try to find out where you can get that extra 1% hit from in both sets, see if that changes these numbers drastically and you think one is just a lot more damage than the other after you have to change a piece or 2 around for that hit. If you've got the crafted gear right now and you're not running out of mana, let me know how much DPS you're putting out with it. Karazhan, we're looking pretty solid, over 1,000 for most of the fights, or really close, except for Nightbane. Nightbane's rough, might be able to get to 1,000 one of these days. We're ranked 13 overall in Karazhan, 243 for Gruul and Mag. Gruul and Mag I'm gonna be working on a lot. I've been looking at our boss fights, try to improve that. But thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.